Hello, good of you to join me in my classic car. This is an Austin A30. You might have already guessed, it can be quite hard to get parts for these cars. You've already seen the title of this video, so you know we're going to attempt to make a rubber part. In this case, we'll make it from silicone, and these parts were often rubber. And seeing that this car is 60 plus years old, the rubber is also 60 plus years old. So these rubbers are all kind of knackered. So let's attempt. I'll take you along and show you all the steps that I took to make this this rubber part. Enjoy! In this case, we need to go into the engine bay because our rubber part is hiding behind the heater. Heaters were optional in these cars. This heater is fitted in the engine bay, but one could also be fitted underneath the parcel shelf. The rubber that we are going to be replicating was fitted in the bulkhead and was used to close off the engine bay from the passenger compartment. The first step is to model the rubber inside a CAD package. With this model, a 3D print can be made. In this case, the 3D print will be used to create the actual mold. The same silicone material that we will be using for the part can be used to create the mold. A type of caulking gun or a syringe can be used to fill the mold. Tapping the mold can remove some air bubbles. I'm not sure how effective this is. Here you can see me removing the 3D print from our silicone mold. The negative cavity is the cavity that will be used to pour the actual part into. With the print removed, the mold is ready for creating some parts. We will need some material and tools. First off, a scales is very important, then the silicone itself and also the coloring agent. Stirring sticks, a few clamps, more clamps, and finally the mold that we just made. This is the syringe that we'll be using for injecting the material and a release agent. We apply the release agent to the mold. And then what I'll do is I'll take a small brush and brush it all in. I actually take my time to do this because you know what they say, nothing sticks to silicone except silicone. The silicone we will be using is a two-part system. You have part A and part B. And they mix together with a ratio of 1 to 10. You need gloves, because the pigment is quite strong. Ask me how I know. The ratio is by weight, so we will be weighing some silicone on a kitchen scale. You can see what time it is. Notice how difficult the silicone actually flows. This is something to keep in mind when you are using a syringe to inject the silicone into a mold. Part B can be used to alter the hardness of the material. You can get harder and softer parts B and mix them together in a ratio to get softer or harder materials. I use Shore 40 and that seems to be fine. I eyeball the pigment and I'll just scoop something up on my very expensive stirring stick. Stirring the silicone in figure eights reduces the risk of bubbles. And bubbles are your enemy. To get rid of most of the bubbles, we'll place it in a vacuum chamber. This vacuum chamber will pull most of the bubbles out of the silicone. It will collapse on itself, and that is a pretty awesome sight, but it takes a while, so be patient and you'll see what I mean. Here you can see that it takes me quite some force to push down the silicone from the syringe. This is what I meant when I said it is something you need to take into account. Shaking and tapping on the mold reduces the chance of bubbles being trapped inside the mold and also inside your part in the end. This is also the reason why I let so much of the material flow over the mold. The silicone I got takes 6 hours to cure, and now we are ready the next day to take it out of the mold. Looks very promising. And there you have it, a part created from 3D printed mold. Or more accurately, from a mold that was created from the 3D printed part. The only thing that's left is to install the part. This is very easy, but sometimes these parts are fixed with like a metal bracket. I don't have that, so it just pops into place. I hope you found it all interesting. For me, it was quite the journey to figure all this stuff out. But you should always do your own research. For now, I'll see you next time, and bye bye.